Ever been jolted awake by your dog barking like mad at, well, absolutely nothing? Or maybe you've watched, totally transfixed, as their gaze locks onto an empty corner, every muscle tight, a low growl vibrating in their chest. You're definitely not alone. In fact, it's pretty interesting. A survey by the animal charity Blue Cross found that over 30% of pet owners believe their pets have warned them about a ghostly presence or even shielded them from spirits. What if these aren't just strange habits? What if they're clues your loyal friend is fighting a silent, unseen battle to protect you from a world way beyond what we can see? The unseen protector. More than meets the eye. We share our lives, our homes, and our hearts with our dogs, right? We know their favorite squeaky toy, the sound of their happy yips, the way they practically dance when we walk in the door. But could there be another side to them? A secret life where they're our spiritual bodyguards? For ages, all sorts of cultures have seen dogs as more than just pets. They've been looked up to as guardians, not just of our stuff, but of our spirits, too. Could there be some truth to that old wisdom that we're just starting to think about again? Many dog owners have stories, puzzling, sometimes even a bit spooky, moments where their dog's actions just don't make sense in the usual way. They talk about their pets barking, growling, or staring hard at empty spaces, especially where there's no obvious threat. Some even say their dog's fur will stand on end, their whole body language screaming alarm at something their human eyes just can't see. While it's easy to brush these things off, what if we decided to look a bit closer? What if these are tiny peeks into a reality our dogs can sense, a reality full of energies and things we can't see? The idea might not be as out there to some as it first sounds. Just think about how many stories like this you hear. People from all different backgrounds, all over the world, share these kinds of experiences. Their dogs, their beloved furry family, suddenly switch from playful buddies to fierce protectors, locked onto some invisible foe. These aren't just one-off things. They make you see a pattern, a collection of tales that hints at a strange shared ability among our canine pals. So the question becomes, what are they reacting to? And maybe more importantly, are they trying to protect us? This isn't about trying to scare anyone. It's about thinking about a possibility, an interesting little whisper from the unknown that suggests our dogs might be our first line of defense against things we can't see. It's about understanding that their loyalty might go way beyond couch cuddles and games of fetch into places we've only ever dared to imagine. Signs your canine guardian is on duty. Decoding the spiritual sentinel. So, if our dogs really are tuned into some kind of spiritual dimension, how would we even know? What are the telltale signs that your furry friend might be more than just a pet, that they might be a protector, warding off unseen influences? Let's look into some of the most common behaviors that owners think are their dogs stepping up as spiritual guardians. Sign 1. The nothing there. Bark down. Vocalizing against the invisible. This is probably the most classic sign, the one that leaves tons of owners scratching their heads. Your dog, chilled out one second, suddenly explodes into a series of barks the next, their attention totally fixed on what looks like an empty space, a blank wall, or a dark hallway. They might growl, whine, or even look aggressive towards this unseen something. Over 30% of pet owners in some surveys believe that when their dogs act this way, they are warding off evil spirits or negative energies. Picture this. It's late. The house is quiet. All of a sudden, your dog jumps up from their bed, hackles raised, and just unloads a barrage of barks at the living room window, where there's nothing but darkness staring back. Or maybe they always stop at one particular spot in the house, an old basement, an attic door, and let out a few warning barks, refusing to budge until they seem to feel the threat has gone. Now, skeptics, and science, to be fair, would rightly point out that dogs have senses way better than ours. Their hearing can pick up frequencies far beyond what humans can, catching the tiniest rustle of a mouse in the walls, a distant siren, or even high-frequency sounds from electronics. Their sense of smell is incredibly powerful, detecting lingering scents we'd never notice, so that nothing they're barking at could very well be a tiny critter, a sound from blocks away, or a smell drifting in from outside. But for those who've seen these episodes, especially when they're intense, happen a lot, and are focused on specific spots with no other good explanation. The interpretation often leans towards the dog sensing a spiritual presence. They see it not as random noise, but as them deliberately confronting and chasing away something their human companions are totally unaware of. The dog isn't just making noise. From this viewpoint, they're actively creating a sound barrier, a vocal shield. The fierceness of the barks, the fixed stare, the steady stance, these are all seen as clear signs of a showdown, a spiritual face-off. Sign 2. The Velcro dog, sticking close in times of perceived energetic threat. Another really interesting behavior is when your usually independent dog suddenly turns into your shadow. This often happens when you're feeling emotionally shaky, stressed out, or even when the vibe in the house just feels off. Additional research highlights. Dogs are amazingly tuned into human emotions. Science actually confirms they can smell changes in our body chemistry linked to stress or fear. They read our body language with a sharpness that often blows us away. But some spiritual traditions and personal stories suggest there's more to it than just empathy. Additional research highlights. They propose that when their humans are having emotional or energetic low points, dogs might be sensing a vulnerability not just in you, but in your energetic field. This belief suggests that negative energies, or even not-so-friendly spiritual entities, might be drawn to these vulnerabilities. In these moments, your dog's insistence on staying close, maybe leaning against you, resting their head on your lap, or even putting themselves between you and a certain part of the room, is seen by some as an act of spiritual defense. Additional research highlights. It's like they're trying to soak up or push away these unseen negative influences, offering their own steady presence as an energetic shield. Additional research highlights. Their calming presence, their warmth, their absolute loyalty, these are seen as their tools in this spiritual protection. Think about those times you felt weirdly uneasy at home, or when a wave of sadness or anxiety just hit you. Did your dog suddenly show up, nudging your hand, refusing to leave you? While their amazing senses are definitely picking up on your subtle body changes, those who believe in the spiritual protection theory think your dog is also sensing the energetic shift around you and actively trying to counter any negativity that might be trying to settle in. They become a living, breathing comfort blanket, sure, but maybe also a furry, four-legged spiritual bodyguard. Sign 3. The location or person alarm. When a place or presence feels wrong. Ever noticed your dog acting strangely in a specific spot, either in your home or outside, or maybe around a particular person? Additional research highlights. They might get unusually worked up, whine, try to pull you away, refuse to go into a certain room, or even show fear or aggression that's out of character. Owners often think this means their dog is sensing something about the history of the place, maybe leftover energy from a bad event that happened there, or picking up an unsettling vibe from someone that isn't obvious to us. Imagine visiting an old, historic place, and your usually brave dog just digs their paws in, refusing to go any further, maybe even whimpering. Or a new acquaintance comes over, someone perfectly polite and friendly on the surface, yet your dog growls softly whenever they get near you, or stands defensively. Lots of personal stories tell of dogs refusing to enter rooms where someone died or where something traumatic happened. Again, there are scientific explanations. Dogs are super sensitive to tiny environmental cues. An old building might have unfamiliar smells, weird acoustics, or even drafts and temperature shifts that make them uneasy. When it comes to people, dogs can pick up on tiny changes in body language, pheromones that signal nervousness or insincerity, or even slight vocal tones that humans might miss. Their past experiences also play a big part. A person who looks or sounds like someone who was mean to them before might get a negative reaction. However, for those who believe their dog is a spiritual guardian, these reactions are much deeper. They see the dog as a kind of spiritual barometer, reacting to unseen energies, entities, or even the bad intentions of others. In folklore and many paranormal tales, dogs are often shown as go-betweens for the physical and spiritual worlds, having a natural knack for detecting spirits or negative energetic vibes. So that growl at a seemingly empty corner of a haunted house or that weird dislike of a particular person could be your dog's way of saying, "Danger, unseen trouble here." They become your early warning system for things beyond what your five senses can pick up. Sign 4. The comforting healer, shielding you during life's storms. Beyond just warding off what some see as negative entities, there's a strong belief that dogs act as spiritual healers. They provide deep comfort and energetic support, especially during big life changes like illness, loss, or times of intense personal growth. Additional research highlights their presence alone can feel like a soothing balm to a troubled heart, a steady anchor in stormy emotional waters. Many people say they feel an almost real sense of peace or spiritual reassurance when their dog is close during these tough times. Additional research highlights it's more than just the comfort of a warm body. It's a feeling of being understood on a deeper level, of having a silent, unwavering ally. Some spiritual healers and traditions even suggest that dogs can absorb and change negative energies. Additional research highlights they willingly take on some of their humans' emotional or spiritual burdens, helping to lighten the load and aid healing. Think of it like an energetic sponge, soaking up the negativity so you can get better. Think about a time of grief or illness. Your dog, maybe sensing your distress, might spend hours lying quietly by your side, offering gentle nuzzles or simply their constant presence. They don't ask for anything, they just are. A constant, loving force. This isn't just passive comfort. In the spiritual protection way of thinking, this is an active role. They are, in a way, creating a sacred space around you, a cocoon of positive, loving energy that shields you from more distress and lets your own healing happen. While science would focus on the proven psychological benefits of having pets, like less stress, lower blood pressure, more oxytocin, the spiritual view adds another layer. It suggests that your dog isn't just making you feel better through everyday interaction, but is actively working on an energetic level to cleanse, soothe, and protect your spirit when it's most vulnerable. They become your gentle, furry spiritual nurses and emotional guardians. Sign 5. The Dream Weaver and Meditative Guide. Messages from beyond the veil? This sign gets into more mystical areas, but it's a common theme in personal stories and some spiritual beliefs. Additional research highlights some people report their dogs, sometimes even beloved pets who have passed on, appearing in their dreams or during meditation, often at key or difficult moments in their lives. These appearances are often seen as messages of guidance, comfort, or protection from the spiritual realm, with the dog acting as a spirit guide. Additional research highlights imagine you're facing a tough choice, feeling lost and unsure. You have a vivid dream where your childhood dog, long gone, appears and seems to lead you toward a certain path, or just gives you a feeling of deep peace and reassurance. Or, during a deep meditation, you feel the clear presence of your current dog, even if they're in another room, and a sense of clarity or comfort washes over you. In spiritual symbols across different cultures, dogs often stand for loyalty, guidance, protection, and unconditional love. These dream visits or meditative encounters are seen by some as the dog's lasting spiritual bond, going beyond even physical separation. It's believed that their role as protectors and guides doesn't always end with their physical life. They can keep offering support from another plane of existence. Of course, Dreams can be complicated creations of our subconscious minds, processing daily stuff, memories, and worries. Meditative states can also bring on altered states of consciousness, where vivid images and sensations can happen. These are perfectly valid psychological explanations. However, for those who have these deep connections, they feel undeniably real and meaningful. The dog in these moments isn't just a memory. They are an active presence, a spiritual ally offering wisdom or strength when it's most needed. It reinforces the idea that the bond we share with our dogs can be so deep that it echoes on a spiritual frequency, letting them reach us and guide us even when they aren't physically by our side. They become messengers from a place of pure love and loyalty. These 5 signs, whether you look at them through a purely scientific lens or a more spiritual one, show the incredibly complex and often mysterious ways our dogs interact with us and their world. What's undeniable is the profound depth of their perception and the unwavering nature of their devotion. Before we go deeper into the ancient beliefs and modern ideas about our canine protectors, I'm curious, have you seen any of these behaviors in your own dog? Which of these signs really hit home with your experiences? Take a moment and share your story in the comments below. I really do read every single one, and your experiences help all of us understand this amazing bond even better. Whispers from the past and present. Why we believe in canine guardians. The idea that dogs have a connection to the spiritual world isn't some new age trend. It's a thread woven through human history, across totally different cultures and belief systems. From ancient gods with dog heads to folklore full of loyal spirit hounds, people have long sensed something special, something otherworldly about our 4-legged friends. Ancient echoes. Dogs as keepers of spiritual gateways. In ancient Egypt, Anubis, the god of mummification and the afterlife, was famously shown with the head of a jackal or dog. Anubis was a guide for souls moving to the underworld, offering protection and ensuring they got there safely. This wasn't just symbolic. Dogs were often buried with their owners, believed to keep protecting them even after death. Across the Mediterranean, Greek mythology gave us Cerberus, the scary 3-headed hound guarding the gates of Hades. While he was a fearsome dude, his job was vital, to keep the dead from leaving and the living from just waltzing in, holding the boundary between worlds. Similarly, in Norse legends, a giant dog named Garmr guarded Hel, the realm of the dead. These aren't just one-off myths. Many Native American traditions see dogs not only as loyal companions and helpers in the physical world, but also as spiritual guides and protectors. Legends often tell of dogs sacrificing themselves for their humans, showing an ultimate kind of loyalty and bravery that goes beyond the everyday. Celtic folklore, too, is packed with tales of ghostly hounds, like the Cú Sith of Scotland, a large, otherworldly green dog whose bark could be an omen, sometimes seen as calling souls to the afterlife or warning of supernatural stuff. Even in Chinese tradition, fu dogs, which are actually lions but are strongly linked to dog-like protective images, are placed at the entrances of temples and homes to ward off evil spirits and bring good luck. What's really interesting is how these themes keep popping up: protection, guidance, and a connection to the afterlife or spirit worlds. Now, it's worth saying these are cultural beliefs and stories, not hard scientific facts. Fact-check feedback. But the way they keep appearing over thousands of years, in so many different places, kind of suggests a deep-down human hunch that dogs have this special spiritual side. Science, on the other hand, doesn't really have a say on whether dogs can see or interact with spirits. It's just not something it can prove or disprove right now. Fact-check feedback. Modern mystics and energetic shields. Contemporary spiritual views. This ancient respect hasn't totally disappeared. Many modern spiritual healers, intuitives, and authors keep exploring the idea of dogs as energetically sensitive beings. Additional research highlights. Some describe dogs as having amazing intuitive abilities that help humans heal, grow emotionally, and even connect with higher states of consciousness. Additional research highlights. There's a belief in these circles that dogs can perceive human auras or energy fields and react to imbalances or negative attachments. Some modern spiritual practitioners believe dogs can act as energetic shields, absorbing or deflecting negative energies aimed at their humans or present in a place. Additional research highlights. 16. This is why they suggest dogs might sometimes get inexplicably sick or sluggish after a period of intense stress in the house or after meeting a particularly negative person. They've taken an energetic hit for their loved ones. These ideas of spiritual healers and energetic shields, while fascinating to many, are interpretations and beliefs not currently backed by scientific agreement. Fact-check feedback. Countless personal stories echo these feelings. Additional research highlights. People describe deep, almost telepathic connections with their dogs, feeling their pets understand their unspoken thoughts and emotions. They tell stories of times their dogs seem to sense danger or offer comfort at just the right moment, in ways that are hard to explain simply. These aren't presented as scientific data, but as deeply personal experiences that strengthen the belief in their dog's extraordinary perceptive and protective powers. Distinguishing roles: protector, guide, or healer. Within these spiritual ways of thinking, dogs can play slightly different, though often overlapping, roles. The spiritual protector is seen as the guardian, the one who actively wards off negative energies, unwelcome spirits, or bad vibes from places or people. Additional research highlights. The barking at nothing, being wary in certain spots, the sudden alertness during stressful times, these are all signs of the protector. Additional research highlights. The spiritual guide or healer, on the other hand, focuses more on inner well-being and navigating through life's tough spots. Additional research highlights. This role involves offering emotional and spiritual healing, providing comfort during loss or illness, and even appearing in dreams or meditations to offer guidance. Additional research highlights. They help ground their humans, make it easier to release emotions, and encourage personal growth. Of course, a single dog can be all these things at different times, smoothly switching from a playful pal to a fierce guardian to a gentle healer, depending on what their beloved human needs. The heart of all these interpretations is the dog's unwavering loyalty and their seemingly natural desire to support and shield the humans in their pack. It's really important to remember that while these cultural and spiritual stories are rich and compelling, they exist alongside scientific explanations. The behaviors we interpret through a spiritual lens can often be chalked up to a dog's heightened senses. Their incredible hearing, their powerful sense of smell, their ability to detect subtle vibrations or changes in air pressure, and their keen observation of human emotional states. Science provides plausible, evidence-based reasons for why dogs bark at things we can't perceive or react to our emotional shifts. The skeptic's corner and the open mind. Balancing belief with science. Okay. So, as we explore these pretty captivating ideas about our dogs as spiritual protectors, it's really important to keep our feet on the ground regarding what we know versus what's in the realm of belief and personal interpretation. The scientific community, quite rightly, is pretty skeptical about claims of paranormal perception in animals. Right now, there's no solid scientific proof to back up the idea that dogs can see or interact with ghosts, spirits, or other supernatural things. Fact-check feedback 1-5-17-23. Science deals with what can be observed, tested, and repeated, and the spiritual realm, by its very nature, often lies outside of those lines. What science says about seeing ghosts. When a dog barks at an empty corner or stares hard at thin air, researchers in animal behavior and thinking offer several good explanations based on their known sensory abilities. Superior senses. As we've mentioned, dogs experience the world through a much richer set of senses than we do. Their hearing goes into ultrasonic ranges, meaning they can hear things like rodents moving in walls, the hum of distant machines, or even high-frequency sounds from dodgy electronics that are totally silent to us. Their sense of smell is thousands of times more sensitive than ours. They might be reacting to a faint, unfamiliar scent carried on the wind or lingering in a room. Their vision, while different from ours, they see fewer colors but are better at spotting motion and seeing in low light, might pick up on subtle shadows or movements that we miss. Environmental triggers. Dogs can be sensitive to changes in air pressure before a storm, subtle vibrations from construction or traffic that we don't feel, or even tiny static electricity changes. These can make them act uneasy or alert. Attention-seeking and learned behaviors. Sometimes a dog might bark just to get their owner's attention, especially if doing that has been accidentally rewarded in the past, like the owner soothes them or gives them a treat. If a dog barks, and the owner immediately looks where they're barking and shows concern, the dog might learn to do it again. Medical or cognitive issues. In some cases, unexplained barking or staring can be a sign of underlying medical conditions, like pain, neurological problems, or age-related canine cognitive dysfunction, similar to dementia in humans. If these behaviors are new, persistent, or getting worse, a vet checkup is always a good idea. Reading human cues. Dogs are pros at reading human body language and emotional states. If an owner is already feeling anxious or thinks a place is creepy, the dog might pick up on their subtle cues, tense posture, different breathing, and react with anxiety or alertness themselves, creating a kind of feedback loop. It's good to remember that statements like, "Recent surveys reveal almost half of pet owners think their animal has seen a ghost," reflect owner beliefs and personal stories, not scientific evidence proving the dogs actually saw a ghost. Fact-check feedback 1:15. Science stays neutral on whether ghosts exist and, therefore, on a dog's ability to see them. The value of anecdotal evidence and personal experience. So, does this mean all those countless stories and deeply held beliefs are worthless? Not at all. Personal experience is a huge shaper of how we understand the world. While stories don't count as scientific proof, they do highlight patterns of behavior and ways of seeing things that are significant in their own right. They speak to the deep emotional and psychological bond between humans and dogs. The feeling that your dog is protecting you, whether from a physical threat or something less tangible, is a valid emotional experience. The comfort and security you get from this belief can be enormous. The mystery is in how we interpret the dog's behavior. Where science offers explanations based on known canine biology and psychology, spiritual interpretations offer explanations rooted in a different way of understanding reality. Bridging the gap. An open but critical mind. Perhaps the best way to look at it is to keep both perspectives in mind. We can appreciate the incredible scientifically proven sensory abilities of our dogs, which let them perceive so much more of the physical world than we do. We can marvel at their ability to feel empathy and their attunement to our emotions. At the same time, we can stay open to the idea that there are aspects of existence that current science doesn't yet fully understand or can't measure. Just because something isn't scientifically proven doesn't automatically mean it isn't real. It just means it hasn't been shown within the current scientific methods. History is full of things once thought mystical that later found scientific explanations. The main thing is to avoid presenting beliefs as if they are established scientific facts. Fact-check feedback. When we talk about dogs battling spirits or creating energetic shields, it's best to frame these as interpretations, beliefs held within certain spiritual traditions, or fascinating possibilities that click with personal experience, rather than scientifically proven realities. Fact-check feedback. The fact that a dog staring at a wall might be hearing a mouse doesn't cancel out the owner's feeling of being watched or the comfort they get from believing their dog is on guard. Both can be true in their own ways. The dog is reacting to something, The human is interpreting that reaction based on their own worldview and experiences. Ultimately, whether you lean towards a purely scientific explanation, a deeply spiritual one, or a mix of both, the core truth remains. Dogs are extraordinary creatures with abilities and perceptions that often go beyond our own. They are undeniably loyal, protective in ways we understand, and perhaps in ways we don't, and the bond we share with them is one of life's most profound treasures. Nurturing your protector. Practical ways to support your spiritually sensitive canine. Whether you think your dog is battling actual spirits or simply reacting to tiny environmental cues we miss, their well-being when they show these protective or anxious behaviors is what matters most. If your dog frequently seems on edge, barks at unseen things, or displays other signs of stress related to what they perceive as threats, here are some ways to support them, blending practical care with an understanding of their potential sensitivities. 1. Rule out the mundane. First, before jumping to spooky conclusions, always check for potential physical or environmental reasons for unusual behavior. Veterinary checkup. As mentioned, sudden or ongoing changes in behavior, including unexplained barking, anxiety, or aggression, mean it's time for a trip to the vet. Pain, neurological issues, sensory decline, like hearing or vision loss, which can make them more easily startled, or canine cognitive dysfunction can all show up in ways that might be misunderstood. Pest control. Could your dog be hearing or smelling rodents, insects, or other small animals in the walls, under the floorboards, or outside? A good check might uncover a very real source of their agitation. Environmental audit. Are there new appliances making high-frequency sounds? Is there construction nearby causing vibrations or unfamiliar noises? Has a neighbor recently adopted a new pet whose scent is drifting over? Try to spot any changes in their environment. 2. Create a secure and calm environment. A dog that feels safe and secure is less likely to be overly reactive. Safe space. Make sure your dog has a den-like safe space. A crate, a comfy bed in a quiet corner, where they can go when feeling overwhelmed. Make this space positive with favorite toys and blankets. Routine and predictability. Dogs do well with routine. Consistent feeding times, walks, and play sessions can help reduce general anxiety and make them feel more secure. Reduce startling stimuli. If your dog often barks at things outside the window, think about using curtains or blinds to limit their view, especially at night. White noise machines or calming music can sometimes help cover up startling sounds. 3. Acknowledge and reassure. Don't punish. When your dog is barking at nothing or acting fearful, punishing them will only backfire. They are likely genuinely perceiving something, whether it's a sound you can't hear or something that makes them uneasy. Calm reassurance. Speak to them in a calm, soothing voice. Let them know you've noticed their concern. You might check out the area they are focused on in a calm way. This isn't to say, "Good job, there's a ghost," but to show them you're taking their alert seriously. Redirection. Once you've acknowledged their alert, try to redirect their attention to something positive, like a simple training cue. Sit down, followed by a treat or a favorite toy. This can help shift their focus. Avoid amplifying fear. If you get anxious or scared when your dog acts this way, they will pick up on your emotions and might get even more worked up. Try to stay as calm and matter-of-fact as you can. 4. Energetic hygiene. For those with a spiritual perspective. If you believe your dog is reacting to negative energies, you might think about practices from various spiritual traditions aimed at clearing or protecting a space. Cleansing rituals. Practices like burning sage, smudging, using sound, bells, chanting, or placing protective crystals are believed by some to clear negative energies from a home. Just remember, this is based on personal belief and isn't scientifically validated. Positive intention. Regularly filling your home with positive energy through loving interactions, joyful music, and your own calm mood is thought by some to create an environment less welcoming to negativity. Your own energetic state. Since dogs are so tuned into us, managing your own stress and keeping a positive emotional state can really impact your dog's sense of well-being. 5. Professional behavioral support. If your dog's fear, anxiety, or reactivity is severe, ongoing, or affecting their quality of life, or yours, don't hesitate to get help from a qualified professional. Veterinary behaviorist. A veterinary behaviorist can help figure out the underlying cause of complex behavioral issues and develop a full treatment plan, which might include behavior modification techniques and, sometimes, medication. Certified Professional Dog Trainer, CPDT-KA-KSA. A positive reinforcement-based trainer can help you with behavior modification techniques to build your dog's confidence and teach them other ways to cope with things that startle them. 6. Strengthen your bond. A strong, positive bond with your dog is key to their security. Quality time. Spend quality time with your dog every day, playing, walking, training, or just cuddling. This reinforces your connection and their sense of belonging. Understanding their communication. Learn to read your dog's body language. Understanding their subtle cues of stress or anxiety will help you step in or support them before their reactions get too big. Whether your dog is a skilled spiritual warrior or simply an incredibly perceptive animal, their dedication to you is absolute. By understanding their needs, respecting their unique sensitivities, and providing a loving, secure environment, you ensure they can continue to be the amazing companions and perhaps even unseen protectors that they are. This whole journey into the world of our dog's unseen battles and spiritual sensitivities is pretty fascinating. And honestly, it brings up as many questions as it answers. What are your deepest feelings about your dog's ability to sense things beyond our understanding? Have these ideas changed how you look at those mysterious barks or unexplained behaviors? I truly believe our dogs have so much to teach us. If you've had an experience that clicks with what we've talked about today, or if you have a different take on it, please share it in the comments below. Let's build a community of curious, compassionate dog lovers exploring the incredible depth of our canine companions. And if you found this exploration thought-provoking, please give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe for more deep dives into the amazing world of animals, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next adventure.